Hello and welcome to the Game Boys. My name is Joe. Now, have you ever wanted to mod a PS4 controller? Either giving it Xbox Elite style thumbsticks, classic style D-pad, or even just change the front shell of the PS4 controller? Well, this is the video for you. Here is my guide to a customized PS4 Pro controller. Let's get to it. So to start off, you'll need to know how to take apart a PS4 controller. So starting off, you will have 4 screws in the controller itself, which obviously you will need to take out. Now, you can get these screwdrivers online, very cheap, or you can get yourself a nice screwdriver kit, which will help immensely with little projects like this. And I find my magnetic tray is a lifesaver when it comes to projects like this. Now, when it comes to opening the PS4 controller, the best way to do it is to squeeze the lower part of the case together as hard as you can, and hopefully a little opening should pop open in the side of the casing. Now, this is time to put a spudger or some kind of plastic in to try and keep that open whilst you open the other side. And once you have both sides open, make sure you keep them both open by inserting some sort of spudger or something to that effect to keep them open. So now comes the hard bit where we have to try and pop this open. Now, it will resist a little bit, but just give it enough force and it should pop open just like that. And now we have to take it apart, but be very careful when taking it apart because of a ribbon cable that you're going to have to watch out for. So here is the ribbon cable underneath there, so we just got to pull that out. It shouldn't take too much effort. Nice little plastic bit to help along with that. So there you have taken the bottom shell off of your PlayStation 4 controller. Now, so to remove the battery is very easy. Just take it off like so and pull this little white cube out. And for reinserting, it's very easy. It's got rigid, so you'll know where to put it back in what way around. Now, next up is another screw housing the circuit board for the PlayStation 4 controller. So we just take that screw out there, take the case off, and that is your last screw. Now, the next bit is a very important bit. This ribbon cable must be removed before you try and do anything else. Again, very easy to pull out, but make sure that you do, because if you pull this out without doing that first, then you will tear the ribbon cable and destroy the controller. So here's the touchpad, just pops out like that, nice and easy. And there you have the faceplate of your controller. And then all we have to do is take off the thumbsticks. Now, this is a pre-modded one where I'd added Xbox One thumbsticks, but there we go. That is how to take apart a PlayStation 4 controller. So next up is how I personally made my customized D-pad. So there's a product called Sugaroo, which is basically like moldable Play-Doh that sets as a solid rubber. So I had some of that, put that in the indent of the PS4 D-pad, because I quite like a classic style D-pad rather than the weird 4-button style that the PlayStation controller has. So after a lot of moulding and a lot of smoothing out, to smooth out Sugar, you use water. I came to finish off what I thought was a pretty good looking D-pad. So after 24 hours, when it sets, it dries solid. And here we go. This is my solid D-pad. Feels pretty good. A little bit rough around the edges, but so am I, so it doesn't matter. So there we go. Now, this is how to reassemble the PlayStation 4 controller. So first off, we put in our D-pad. And I just cut out the middle of the D-pad with a Stanley knife. Then reattach rubber mats with these 4 little posts that you make sure you push them into the post. Make sure the rubber's over the edges there. And it's all nice and solid, otherwise the buttons won't work properly. So there we go. D-pad working okay already. Just double check with the thumb posts because they do tend to fall out. So next up is reinserting our triangle, square, circle and cross buttons. Now these have nice little ridges on them, so it's impossible to put them back in the wrong way around, basically. So you have to twist them around a bit to make sure you've got them in the right place. Like so. Here we go. And that one. Yeah, and then just time for square. And there we go. Now back on with the rubber casing for that. Make sure the matte black side is facing outwards, as that is the part that contacts with the electrical contacts on the circuit board in order for your buttons to work. So make sure that's all solid. Now we add the PlayStation button back into the center and re-add the casing. Now you don't have to do this if you are changing buttons or changing thumbsticks or something like that, but I just thought I'd do it and take it apart and show you how this is done. So make sure again the rubber is holding onto those posts and you're good to go. So now very easily reinsert the touchpad, just fits through like that and then should click into place. And there we go, there's the front of your controller reassembled. So now it comes to the thumbsticks. Now these are Xbox One style interchangeable thumbsticks that I got from Amazon, pretty cheap. I'll put a link in the description below. And as you see, there's a kind of rectangular shape on the analog stick, so you simply click it on and push it till you hear the click, and make sure you hold the back of the controller whilst you're doing this, because otherwise you can accidentally click off the circuit board from that part of the controller, which is not ideal. So there we have our thumbsticks installed. So next up is fitting the controller back onto the faceplate. So this is slightly tricky, but basically you have to make sure you can slide on the controller and get that ribbon cable to go through the hole in the top there. So not the most difficult thing in the world to do. And then make sure you reattach the ribbon cable into its housing. So there we go, reattached. Make sure that's solidly in. And now on with the battery housing, make sure you screw that up tight, otherwise some of the buttons don't necessarily press as well. You've got to make sure that the controller is firm. So next up is reattaching the battery. Now, as I said before, it has ridges, so it's very easy to see which way round this should go back in, and you simply just slide that in, have the wires go around. So next up is reconnecting the back of the controller to the front, which is this tricky little ribbon cable, but as you see, not too difficult to do. You just got to make sure it's properly in there. And then simply click the controller back together and make sure this little plastic bit clicks underneath, and it should make a nice click like that. And there you have reassembled your PlayStation 4 controller. So now all you need to do is reinsert the screws. So there we have our reassembled controller. Now all that's needed is the thumbsticks, which are little magnetic thumbsticks. So this one's slightly taller on the right for the aim, and then this one is a nice dome top for the left stick. And then the final touch is the PlayStation back button attachment. Simply click on. Now these sold out straight away when they were released, and I'm not sure if they're ever going to make these again, so So if you can get your hands on one, it's definitely a great addition to the PlayStation 4 controller. So there we have it. That is my PlayStation 4 Pro customized controller. If you like the video, please leave a like. Please leave a comment below if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.